In today's modern world, there is no shortage of things to be found, from finding some old war relic to buying a storage unit with treasures inside. Anyone can find something cool out there. We dug up some really cool true stories about people finding incredible stuff, and you won't believe what some of the people found. So join us as we go on a treasure hunt and uncover some incredible finds. Field of Grenades. Somewhere in Russia, a mushroom picker stumbled upon an unusual find when he was walking through the forest in search of mushrooms. While he was looking around the area, he accidentally stumbled upon huge piles of rusty grenades. Yeah, you heard right. Apparently, the grenades were recycled sometime and then just simply dumped in the middle of the forest. But what is really surprising is that no one had discovered these giant piles of rusty metal before. The unusual find was laying among the tall grass on a field that was completely surrounded by forest trees. That might be the reason why it was not noticed before, because people would not usually go through the tall grass to look for mushrooms. And from the distance, these piles of rusted metal probably looked just like some mounds of dirt. However, this man decided to step into the field and was shocked by what he found there. He took a couple of pictures of the grenades and shared them online. It's probably a really good thing that these were just empty shells. Just imagine the explosion in the forest if they had been live and active and something were to set them off. Money under a mattress. A sham company that was named Telex Free Inc. was a massive pyramid scheme that was based in Marlborough, Massachusetts, that caused billions of dollars in losses to nearly 2 million victims worldwide. Telex Free filed for bankruptcy in 2014. Its assets were frozen, and its two principals were indicted on federal charges of wire fraud and conspiracy. One of those people is Carlos Wenzler, who fled to his native Brazil. Apparently, the two had hidden huge sums of cash where it couldn't be found, and Wenzler was trying to get this stolen cash back to his country. Somewhere along the line, an accomplice by the name of Kleber René Rizerio Rocha was trying to get some of this money to Brazil for Wenzler. He delivered a suitcase that had $2.2 million inside to an undercover agent. Thinking he was out in the clear, the agents secretly tracked Rocha back to his apartment where they found a big surprise. While searching the room, investigators found $20 million packed neatly inside of a mattress box spring. Rocha was part of the scheme to transfer these millions of dollars of hidden assets to Brazil by laundering the cash through Hong Kong. Rocha was charged with conspiring to commit money laundering and is in prison. Carlos Wenzler is still in Brazil as the country doesn't extradite its citizens. However, he was recently stripped of his citizenship as the United States tries to get their hands on him. Hidden World War II treasure. A lot of stuff from World War II has been uncovered or found recently, and in Latvia, around February 2018, an amateur archaeologist who usually digs in the ground looking for cool and interesting things ended up finding some interesting treasure. While using a metal detector, he came across a big signal and grabbed a shovel and started to dig. What he ended up finding were 5 old metal milk cans. That doesn't sound like a big deal, but it turns out that the milk cans were not empty. During World War II, when people were running away from the war, the valuables that they could not take with them ended up being buried or hidden in the ground so that they could return at a later time and take them. However, war doesn't spare everyone, and many people became its victims. Inside of the milk cans were lots of different linen towels and sheets, clothes, 2 old electric lamps, and a bunch of other really old things like an oil lamp and an old hat. It's quite possible that some of this stuff could be worth a lot of money since it's from a time long gone. Pablo Escobar Millions. Jose Mariana Cartolos, a 65-year-old farmer from Colombia, was digging a water system trench for an estate when he found something absolutely astounding underneath his feet. During his digging, Jose found a few huge blue containers. Inside of the containers was $600 million, which apparently belonged to the notorious drug kingpin Pablo Escobar. The farmer was an honest man and informed the police, who then confiscated the barrels of cash. However, in return for his honesty, he got a $3,000 grant from the Colombian government to help him start a palm oil plantation on the land that had been in his family for over 200 years. Now, $600 million is a lot of cash, but it was not all Pablo Escobar had. Not even close. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria once supplied about 80% of illegal drugs smuggled into the U.S. and was the wealthiest criminal in history, with an estimated known net worth of $30 billion in the early 1990s, and had approximately $50 billion when including money that was buried in different areas of Colombia. But here's the most surprising thing. The CIA estimates there to be about 100 of these money pits that have yet to be discovered, each containing between $500 million to $1 billion. Mega Millions Forgotten Ticket. In May of 2017, a New Jersey man discovered he won $24 million from the New York Lottery Mega Millions jackpot just 2 days before the ticket expired. Jimmy Smith was prompted to check his collection of tickets after seeing a TV report about how time was running out for the winner to claim the lottery prize. He'd been buying lottery tickets in New York and New Jersey since the 1960s, but never rushed to see whether he had won. The man had a stack of unchecked lottery tickets in the pockets of an old shirt hanging in his closet, and that is where he actually found the winning ticket that he bought in May 2016. When the numbers matched up, he stood there for a minute thinking, "Do I see what I think I see?" The New York Gaming Commission knew the winning ticket was sold at a shop that sells wine and food in New York City, but the shop obviously didn't know who bought the ticket. Smith said he bought the ticket from the shop in Manhattan's Tribeca neighborhood. The man, who has 2 kids and 12 grandchildren, chose to receive his payments over the course of 26 years. But it's a good thing he checked his tickets though, because had he waited 2 days longer, he would have lost out on $24.1 million. Storage Unit Millions. In November of 2018, a man found $7.5 million hidden in a safe inside a storage unit he purchased from Storage Wars star Dan Dotson for just $500. Dotson, who runs the auction house American Auctioneers, spoke about the lucky man in a Facebook video. But soon after, a woman contacted Dotson and told him her husband worked for the man who bought the abandoned storage unit. Dotson said that there already was one attempt to get a locksmith to open the safe, but cracking the safe was too tough for the locksmith. However, the second locksmith that was called managed to get the safe open. After the money was discovered, the original storage unit owners reached out to the new owner through their lawyer. The original owners offered the new owners $600,000 and then later $1.2 million to have the money returned to them. The new storage unit owners took the original owners up on their offer and agreed to the $1.2 million in exchange for the remainder of the money. It turned out the storage space was auctioned off because the original owners failed to pay for their unit's rental fees. We want to know what you would have done in this situation. Let us know in the comments. Inherited hidden gold. In November of 2016, a man who inherited a house in the town of Évreux in Normandy from a deceased relative discovered $3.7 million worth of hidden gold in the home. It started when the unnamed yet very lucky man started moving things around and found a box of gold coins that was attached to the bottom of a piece of furniture. Surprised, he continued poking around and soon found an old whiskey bottle with more gold pieces hidden inside. By the time the treasure hunt had ended, he found 5,000 gold pieces, 2 gold bars, and 37 gold ingots, which was under furniture, under piles of linen, in the bathroom, and just about everywhere you searched. The entire haul weighed more than 200 pounds and was reportedly bought during the 1950s and 1960s. It turned out that the house is in the same general region where 3 builders found about $1 million worth of gold buried in the garden in 2011. The man has already sold so much of the treasure but owes a whopping 45% inheritance tax on the gold. plus 3 years of back taxes in the event his relatives didn't declare it. World War I artillery shell. As we said earlier, lots of World War II stuff has been found. But in May of 2018, a homeowner found a live World War I era artillery shell lying next to his trash in London, Ontario. Now here is the really mysterious thing. The vintage piece of ordnance was found by Danny Velo after someone had placed it in the curbside trash for pickup in the city's West End. Velo said that he had jumped over the fence in his backyard to go to a doctor's appointment when he stumbled across the 100-year-old explosive. Velo, who is a retired ironworker, said he was worried the explosive was live, so he called the police. The local bomb squad was sent to the scene and found that the shell was indeed live. The 90-pound shell, which was about 2 feet long, contained between 20 and 30 pounds of explosives inside. Officers removed the shell and took it to CFB Borden to be destroyed. It turned out that the bomb belonged to 2 men who were renting the place for only 3 months and had it inside. The landlord, who owned the house, evicted them for not paying rent. Mr. Velo had a very valid point when he was quoted as saying, "Where the hell has that bomb been in 100 years? Like that's a military shell that should have been found in Europe, something that you dig up in the farmland somewhere, not here in Canada." We hope you enjoyed this video. Which one of these incredible finds was your favorite? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked this video, then click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you will be the first to know when a new video arrives. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.